Good morning, Terrell here. It's a new video. We're going to be doing turbo injectors and a fuel pump on a 2004 Wrx, I believe. No, actually, I think this is an 03 with an 04 front end on it. Anyhow, we have a good video for today. Do a little cold start action for us. See, it's not super cold, but it's kind of cold. Alright, we have a Blousche Turbo. I think he said it's like a 20G or an 18G. We have injectors. We're going to go ahead and check these out in a moment. And then we have a fuel pump right there. It looks like we have some pink injectors. They're KSM. I'm hoping they flow the same as a pink STI injector. For any turbo job, you're always going to start with taking the intercore off one of these cars, unless it's a front mount. But this is just one flathead there, and then two 12s, and a 12 there, and a 12 there, and then the intercore's off. And then typically I'll spray these with PV Blaster. There is a nut there, bolt nut, and then there's going to be a nut back here, and sometimes there's a nut on the bottom. This one does not seem to have it, so that actually helps out a lot. And then we have a nut, and a nut below. We have a coolant line there, and we have an oil line there. Coolant line here, and then we just have boost controller line there, and the turbo is off already. Okay, intercore is off, and pulling the downpipe off. I got all the bolts and nuts off so far. And then the downpipe's actually nice and loose. I'm gonna see if I can get a flathead in the inside like this, and then force it back and see if I can go low enough to not have to remove the downpipe fully. But usually you do have to remove the downpipe. Obviously you just crawl underneath the car. There are two 14s or 12s usually back there. But I'm gonna see if I can get this off without doing that. All right, downpipe is off. I got the 3 nuts for the turbo off. One right there, one in that hole, and one right back there. Got the oil line off already. Got the coolant line I'm about to remove from up there. And then I'm gonna use one of these clamps on the bottom line. Hold it tight so I don't lose all the coolant, but I do have a coolant bucket down here ready to catch whatever I lose. That was the hardest oil line I've ever had to remove. The bottom one, someone put the clamp on backwards, but the turbo is finally off. It's a little TD04, cute little guy. Exhaust side doesn't look too bad. But you can see that someone put this clamp on that way, so I could not get it loosened. So I just had to pull and I finally got it off. Anyhow. So that the gasket's not leaking, so that's good. Now I'm gonna go ahead and put the other turbo on. Had to remove the old oil return line right there, and then the old coolant line. Got the turbo back in, got the oil line on first, and then the inlet in, and then the 3 studs to the turbo. You can see the back one right there. I'm gonna go ahead and tighten those down, get the oil line on, coolant lines on, tighten the turbo inlet, and then the boost controller, and then put the downpipe back on. It's very difficult, but I got the oil line on, so now I think the rest of it should go pretty smoothly. Just gonna put this coolant line on from the reservoir to the turbo, the one on down here, and then the 3 nuts for the turbo, and then the boost controller and the turbo inlet. Okay, the turbo and all lines are on. I'm gonna go ahead and test and make sure everything's good. I always prime turbos when I install them. So on these year cars, I typically take out this fuse. It's a 15 amp ignition fuse, or I unplug the crank sensor, and then I go ahead and I crank it. Make sure it's got some oil pressure in there. Do it about once more. Okay. All right, now I'm gonna go ahead and start it. Checked it. I didn't see any leaks, obviously, so to start it, I'm gonna have a downpipe off. That way, that if there's any oil leaks coming out of the turbo, I can see right away, just to make sure. Let it run for a couple seconds, and now I'm gonna check and see if there's any oil leaks. and nothing's coming out of there yet. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this downpipe on and assume that we don't have any leaks there. And then injectors and fuel pump next. Got 2 of the injectors out, and these aren't even like light blues or dark blues. They're like a strange color. Sorry, it won't focus very well. Don't like those. Got the new STI pinks. Gonna go ahead and drop those in. They're a different brand, like I said earlier, but we'll drop them in anyways. And scale them and see how they run. All right, both injectors are in. On this side, I just primed it. Let's see if there's any leaks. Nothing obviously there. Nothing I can tell from that side, I don't think. There's some fluid down there, but I don't think that's fresh fuel pressure. I'm gonna check it one more time though. All right, I got it all put back together. Intake's back on, intercore's back on. That was very tough to get that on that turbo. Downpipe's back on, and then the injectors are in, and battery's in. So engine side's done. I just need to do the fuel pump now. If you know Subarus, you know how to do this. In the back seat area, passenger side of any 02 to 07. Take off 4 Phillips, remove the cover, and then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I think, 8mm bolts or nuts. And you have that clamp, and then you have this fuel line and this. And once those are all off, you have a little plate right here you need to lift up and push off to the side, and then as you come up, it's like a ground, so these need to be bolted back on with that ground when you reinstall it. I gotta get this line off and this line off, and then I should be able to pull the whole thing out. The amount of spider webs and stuff on this, I thought it had never been removed. It's wrong, it has a DW65C, but we're gonna put a walbro pump in and make sure we get some good flow. New fuel pump's on. Go ahead and install it back in the car now. Oh, got the fuel pump back in. See the whole assembly down there? We're gonna go ahead and prime this, make sure it's working, and then put the cover back on. Listen for the sound. Beautiful. And one more time. Awesome, there we go. Sounds like we have good fuel pressure. I'm gonna go ahead and plug my laptop in, flash a tune on for the 550cc injectors, and then a little bit of wastegate duty cycle out of this. Get the fuel tank cover on, the rear seats back in, and then go ahead and drive this and record the driving and the sound difference. All right, tune has been flashed on. Go ahead and disconnect the green connector so I can do it real quick on camera or not. All right, first start after everything's done. Tune's been flashed on. Fuel pressure up. We are at operating temperature, not adding much fuel. It's running pretty dang good. We're gonna take it for a little drive, see how it sounds. Oh, second gear here. Sounds good. Running good. Numbers looking pretty good here. We got pretty much zero correction at idle, using 70% of the injectors. We hit 18 PSI boost, just a hair knock for a second, and that's all. 80% wastegate duty cycle. During the pull it wasn't that high. Making some good power, and no real issues, only revving out to about 6,000 RPM. Thank you for watching. I think I'm going to end the video here. Not a whole lot else. I'm just going to need to drive this in third and stuff a little bit more and make sure I don't have any knock. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, give it a like. If you don't, it sucks. Thank you.